Hey YouTubers, I'm finally here with a full review of this bag that I received months ago. This is the MindShift Gear FirstLight 40 liter, and I received this for review, I think it was in late April, early May, and I used it on a trip out to Kentucky. You may have seen the video. It's the video about the John Holder Trail, and it worked out really well for that. And I thought, well, I need to do a review of it, but then I started working on my office, so I didn't have this set up to do the review on for a while. Then the heat of the summer, and no real excuse there, but I really started thinking, well, maybe I should wait until I do this planned trip to the Grand Canyon in the fall, because I knew I would use this bag on that. Then that fell through. So, well, long story short, I'm finally back to reviewing this bag, and to do so I've been refreshing my memory by carrying it on a few photographic excursions of late. So what is this thing? Well, obviously it's a really large photographic backpack, 40 liters of gear carrying capacity. It means you can carry a lot of stuff. It means it can get rather heavy, but fortunately it's designed to carry a heavy load very well. This backpack, I would say, is most likely designed for pros or really serious amateurs because it's really designed to carry a lot of DSLR gear, basically. So if you have giant lenses because you're a wildlife guy, or if you have a lot of stuff because you do weddings, for example, this bag will carry that stuff easily. Let me show you MindShift's own suggested serving image here, so you can see they've got a big pro body here, big lens, another big lens. It can be set up in a variety of ways for large DSLR setups. I don't have a large DSLR setup. I use Sony mirrorless cameras, so this bag is entirely too big for those, but it's really good for large format, which is what I'm shooting lately if you're keeping up. So I have carried more than one 4x5 kit in this bag, and it does that very well. So what are the dimensions of this thing? Well, it's let's see, 14 by 21 by 9 on the outside, and slightly smaller than that obviously on the inside, 13 by 20 by 7. Plenty of room for a full-size DSLR or a DSLR with a hand grip on it, that sort of thing. Its unloaded weight is 6 pounds, so it's not a particularly light bag, but you're going to be putting lots of stuff in it, so as a percentage the weight of the bag is not huge. And it's got lots of high-quality dividers in there, so that accounts for some of the weight. And it's also got a lot of added features, including a harness system that works really, really well. All of this stuff contributes some to weight, but it also makes it so that it carries weight a lot better. So what are the features of this bag? Well, first off, it's a front entry system. I'm not going to open it all the way right now. I'm going to dump the stuff out of here in a more organized fashion in a moment, but it's a front entry bag. So you lay it down on its back when you want to open it up like this. It comes with a rain cover, and you can also use that as a ground cover, and I've used it in exactly that way. So if you're going to lay it down on something wet, it'll be fine. You just lay down the ground cover first. Let me just go ahead and unload this thing so you can see what I've got in it and on it. On the outside, I've got my tripod, in this case, Benro, I think it's a 2680. This is a mid-size carbon fiber tripod. Over here I've got a water bottle, and let's get to what's inside. Again, it's a large format kit, so here we have my Arca Swiss 4x5. We've got a few large format lenses. That's a 90, here's a 210. We want to bet I knock one of these off before this video is over. A 120, my focusing loop, the ground cloth, I'll keep some of this stuff in the bag. I have a compartment set up here for holding film holders. And I've got 2 different meters in these slots. Cable release that kind of randomly goes into whatever slot is open at the moment. And this pocket I use for a variety of things. Lately I've been carrying a GorillaPod and my Sony RX100 Mark III for video purposes. So it easily holds this gear, and like I showed you on the picture, it would easily hold a very large DSLR kit. One thing I really like about this bag is these pockets have quite a bit of roominess to them. So they kind of pooch out at the bottom. They're not real flat. So you could actually fit quite a bit of stuff in there if you don't have to wrestle it to get it back in. So I have my filter holder, and I can put a number of filters in here. Right now I'm just carrying one. Various and sundry goes in here. And on the outside, we've got these 2 pockets. An outer pocket in which I'm carrying some gloves and some snacks. And then this pocket, which is shaped to hold a laptop, and it holds up to a 17-inch laptop. And then over on this side we have our water bladder pocket. I actually use this to hold, for example, if I'm carrying my telescoping rail for my Arca Swiss setup, I put the telescoping rail down in here. It fits pretty nicely. And then just another view of the harness system. One thing I absolutely love about this, I don't know if you'll be able to see it from here, but I'll try to get some other video. You can move it up and down so that your torso can be accommodated. This allows you to set the bag up so that the weight is on the waist belt, which is where it belongs. It's on, on your hips, and then the straps are really there just to kind of keep the bag from falling off your back. So there shouldn't be a lot of weight on your shoulder straps. So I've got some live trail footage that I shot talking about how well this harness system works, so I'll show that right now. I found that this bag excels at carrying what I consider to be heavier photography loads, the 20 to 25 pound range. With the adjustability on this backpack, I'm able to set it up in the way that I understand that you're supposed to, where the shoulder straps, even though I've got 20 some pounds on here, the shoulder straps don't have a lot of weight on them. You see how loose that is? That's due to the fact that most of the weight is being carried on my hips. And I think it's due to the adjustability of this bag that I'm able to achieve this, this goal that you have when you're setting up using a backpack, carrying a larger backpack. And so I find that it really does work. If I undo this waist belt, I wouldn't be able to carry this very comfortably at all for very long. So it works very well. In addition to the adjustable torso length, this bag also has load lifters, and until I had a bag that had these, I didn't know how important they were. When you're carrying a lot of weight, what happens, like I was talking about, you put the waist belt on, the bag wants to fall backwards, you use the shoulder strap to keep it from doing that, but there's still that pull. What these guys do is they pull the top of the bag, top of the main compartment of the bag, closer to the top of your back so that the bag doesn't feel like it's pulling back. This makes an amazing difference in my experience to the comfort of the bag. So on my other bag here, which I also love, it's just a little smaller, the BackLight 26L, also from MindShift, it doesn't have that feature, and if I load this bag up to 20 pounds or so, it gets kind of uncomfortable to carry that heavy a weight. It's not really designed to carry heavy weight anyway, but I just noticed after carrying this bag for a while, if I switch to this one, I'm like wanting to grab for those load lifters. They're not there, and I'm a little bit sad. Another feature this bag has that I really love is grab handles. That seems like a small thing, but once you start packing this thing, and it carries a lot of gear, so it gets heavy, it's really nice to be able to pick up by this handle, and then there's one on this side, so you can carry it this way. I like that feature a lot, and this one's nicely padded. This one not so much, but that's okay. It fits overhead. It's not going to fit under any seat that I saw, but overhead, no problem. You just kind of wrap the straps up. You can make it into a fairly compact package by wrapping the straps around backwards, and I found it really, really easy to travel with. Okay, some sort of pros and cons observations. The rain cover is necessary. The reason it's necessary, I mentioned it just quickly before, is the bag opens like this, and this is the part you're going to put against your body. So you're going to want to have that rain cover on you. So it's going to take a little space in the bag, not a lot, but you're going to want it in case you ever set the bag down on something wet. That's as opposed to bags that open on the back. They kind of sit on the front of the bag, and so the part you're going to put against your body stays dry. In my opinion, it's a minor downside because the carrying capacity of this thing, for me, totally made up for it. I will say that the rain cover works really well. I put it down on some really wet rock in Kentucky, and when I picked it back up, the water just it flew off the thing. I barely had to shake it, and it was practically dry. So the DWR they use on it is really effective. So I wouldn't worry about setting this thing down on really, really wet surfaces. Okay, so my final criticism, and this is a really small criticism, but MindShift kind of spoiled me with the BackLight. The front pockets on the BackLight have some organization pockets inside. So probably not going to show up very well. This is just a big giant stuff pocket. There are no sub pockets in here, nothing like that. On the BackLight, it has this really nice system of pockets in here that kind of spoiled me. So I could slide either my MacBook in here or my iPad, and it's got some organization. This thing is really for the iPad, but I kind of threw mine in whichever one. Then it's got a couple of pen pockets or whatever. It's just got a little bit of minor organization stuff that I found to be pretty handy when using this bag. And the pocket poofs out quite a bit. You know, it's got some capacity. By contrast, the FirstLight, not so much. I mean, you can stuff things in here. It's not going to be a big problem, but there is no organizational stuff in here at all. Kind of missed that a little bit. Same thing with this pocket. It's just a stuff pocket, and there's no organizational parts in here. So, minor criticism. Maybe in the next version, MindShift will consider maybe adding a little more material here, and then having the zippers come down a bit further and add some of that organizational stuff that the BackLight series has. So, that being said, this is a really good bag if you need to carry big, heavy gear, and I really can't recommend it highly enough for that sort of usage. Hope you found this useful. I'll catch you later.